All right, let's dive straight into this explainer and decode how a highly polarizing product completely reinvented its identity in the Indian market. We're looking at one of the most fascinating brand repositioning case studies out there right now. I mean, it is an absolute masterclass in taking something that was, frankly, mocked and turning it into this undeniable cultural phenomenon.
So here's a genuine business mystery for you. How exactly did an unconventional, chunky rubber shoe become the ultimate Gen Z fashion staple in India? If you rewind just a few years, these shoes were seen as purely functional. People called them the ugly shoe. You wore them for gardening, running quick errands, or maybe just lounging around the house. But today, no way. Today, they are a massive fashion, lifestyle, and self-expression brand, specifically targeting Gen Z and young millennials across India. The gap between that initial perception and where they sit right now is staggering. So how on earth did they bridge that gap?
The secret sauce is a fundamental shift in their product identity. You see, Crocs deliberately moved away from traditional footwear marketing. Normally, that follows a super predictable path, right? Design, then comfort, then price. But instead, Crocs added a totally new, highly emotional dimension: personal identity. They literally stopped selling just a comfortable rubber shoe and started selling a premium canvas for your personal aesthetic.
And that brings us to this absolutely critical concept. Instead of dictating fashion to Gen Z, the old "here is the shoe you should wear" approach, Crocs flipped the script. They said, here's the base layer, now make it yours. By letting the consumer become an active, creative participant in designing the product, they engaged in what's known as participatory branding. And honestly, it's incredibly empowering for a demographic that absolutely values individuality and hates being told what's cool by massive corporations.
Enter the Jibbitz charms. These are a total genius business hack. They're the actual engine driving this participatory branding. Think about it. Instead of churning out hundreds of completely different shoe designs and just hoping they hit the mark, Crocs makes one instantly recognizable shoe and offers hundreds of relatively inexpensive customization possibilities. So a single shoe sale transforms into this continuous multiplier effect. You buy the shoe once, but you come back again and again for new charms. It builds collectability, it skyrockets customer lifetime value, and it inherently generates endless social media content because every single shoe ends up being entirely unique to the wearer.
Section 2. Cultural localization. Adapting to India beyond a simple global copy-paste.
Now, Crocs didn't just take their Western ads and lazily slap an Indian logo on them. They deeply integrated into the actual rhythm of Indian life. Take their Holi campaign, Your Crocs, Your Rang. They perfectly leveraged the brand's naturally colorful DNA to tap into local festive energy. They connected this highly customizable product with the pulsating beats of music, the joy of dance, rich Bollywood nostalgia, and of course, the vibrant, messy celebration of Holi. They even went as far as creating Holi-themed Jibbitz. It wasn't just an ad, it was an open invitation to celebrate.
And what's truly brilliant here is how they capitalized on the Indian monsoon. I mean, think about it for a second. Rubber shoes are naturally great for the rain because they're incredibly easy to clean, right? But rather than just quietly being the practical, kind of boring choice, Crocs adapted their global, wonderfully unordinary platform specifically for the Indian monsoon season, complete with India-exclusive charms. They took a basic functional attribute and brilliantly turned it into a massive, culturally relevant marketing event. They literally owned the season.
To actually deliver these cultural campaigns, they completely rethought their celebrity strategy. Instead of using standard, blank canvas fashion models, they partnered with quirky, highly expressive Indian pop culture personalities. We're talking people like Ori, Rashmika Mananda, Karan Johar, Pratibha Ranta, and Siddhant Chaturvedi. When these guys wear Crocs, the message isn't just, hey, these are comfortable. The message is, Crocs are a core part of my unique personality. It completely reinforces that self-expression positioning by using recognizable faces who are known for being authentically and sometimes unapologetically themselves.
Section 3. The Gen Z flywheel. Building a social-first marketing engine. Let's walk through this momentum engine because it is flawlessly designed. It all starts with influencers showing exactly how they style their Crocs, and this gives their followers real-world style inspiration, not just some scripted endorsement. This organically inspires user-generated content. Consumers buy the shoes, completely deck them out with Jibbitz, and because the end product is so visually distinctive, they immediately share their unique creations on Instagram and TikTok. This community participation then loops right back around. It drives more visibility, creating this massive FOMO effect, which prompts repeat purchases as people constantly want to update their look. The consumers organically become the media and the living billboards for the whole brand.
And to keep this flywheel spinning at top speed, Crocs relies heavily on strategic collaborations. They partner with entertainment brands, massive musicians, and iconic pop culture characters. And you know, this actually solves a huge problem in the shoe industry: footwear commoditization. Because if every competitor can make a comfortable clog, how do you possibly stand out? Well, you take an ordinary Croc, inject a hyper-relevant pop culture collaboration, engineer incredibly limited availability, and boom, you generate immense social buzz. It creates instant scarcity and an irresistible collectability that drives fans absolutely wild.
Okay, now we have to talk about the sheer audacity of this premium pricing model. Look, let's be brutally honest. Consumers are not paying up to 12,000 rupees for a piece of molded foam rubber. No way. They're paying for brand status, celebrity association, limited edition collaborations, and personal identity. This pricing actually reinforces the psychological shift perfectly. It signals to the market that Crocs is a premium branded lifestyle product, not a budget utility shoe you just leave by the back door.
Section 4. Strategic Takeaways. Let's synthesize the Crocs playbook.
When you weigh their overall strategic position, the picture is incredibly clear. Yes, they face some obvious weaknesses. I mean, they have a highly polarizing design and a premium price tag for a very simple-looking shoe. And sure, there are undeniable threats from local, inexpensive alternatives and counterfeits flooding the market. But their strengths and opportunities, they are just overwhelming. They have an iconic silhouette, unstoppable Gen Z appeal, a highly profitable Jibbitz ecosystem, and massive expansion potential into Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities via quick commerce platforms. Their massive competitive moat, which again is entirely built on deep personalization and loyal community, completely outshines the inherent risk of their unconventional design.
Because ultimately, this whole story is a masterclass in repositioning. When people said, "Crocs look weird," the brand didn't panic. They didn't try desperately to make the shoe look like conventional fashion footwear. Nope. They leaned all the way in. They turned weird into wonderfully unordinary. They made unconventionality the entire point of the brand. For them, being different wasn't a flaw, it was the feature.
So think about the masterclass we've just unpacked in this explainer. Crocs took the very thing they were mocked for and turned it into a premium canvas for a generation's self-expression. As you look at your own projects, your business, or your brand strategy, I want you to ask yourself, what perceived weakness are you trying to hide that could actually be flipped into your most powerful, defining asset?